D'Angelo. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Manhattan Beach, and I'm a junior in the Cinema Arts School at USC, studying media arts and practice, which is the cool, fun, digital, interactive wing of the School of Cinematic Arts. In 2007, I started making stop-motion animations. I got involved with a website called heythats.cool, which I think is still up, and it was a community of people who made stop-motion animations with Legos. And so we would talk about, we'd swap techniques and tricks and, how to make our stuff look better. That patience that I learned from that process, I think, really informs, everything else that I do, in editing, for sure. This guy, Nate Burr, Blunty 3000, I think he's still on the internet. I saw his videos first, and that sort of, got me into it. I saw his videos and I was like, I can do that. And he had a video where he talked about his equipment, and I was like, oh dang, that's not that, it's not that high a boundary for me to hop in and get in on the game. So I started making stuff. Entered a few contests, in the community, they were 24-hour animation contests and things like that. That were really fun to participate in. But I look back on that experience now, realizing that that's how tons and tons and tons of people engage with the internet and start making stuff. I guess then I started doing vlogs. I guess it was Lego animation, and then surf movies, and then vlogs. That was fun for a while. Then I started talking about digital media stuff, and I got a really positive response. People on YouTube were like, "Oh yeah, we could be thinking about this really hard and really critically, and we could be having constructive conversations about the way that we participate here." So that was really fun and rewarding. I put up a video complaining about how YouTube's curation algorithms unfairly prop up or unfairly favor some types of content over others, and that the types of content that don't really make YouTube as much money weren't getting favored as much. That was the thesis of the video, and then that got a comment from Hank Green, and that started all these huge discussions, and that was the most amazing thing, because I got to have a really deep discussion about media in a way that I don't know, a lot of people brought a lot of stuff to the table for that conversation. So that was rewarding, and I figured after that, this is what I'm thinking about, this is what I'm studying, maybe I should be talking about this more. So I shifted towards specifically new media topics. So I did the science and dangers of YouTube celebrity, which was about parasocial interaction and some theory around how people develop relationships with figures in media. I did a video about the nature of capitalism, capitalism and fangirls, how are YouTubers sort of taking advantage of the properties of fandom to benefit themselves. I did ethical consumerism 101 for YouTube, which was here's the basics that you need to know, the basic mechanics of viewership here. This is stuff that I really like to spend time thinking about, and I'm literally talking about, and I don't know, that's what I want to do. It sort of went from I'm just making videos, I'm doing this because the practice is fun, the process is fun, to this is a way to get to start really meaningful conversations about parts of my life. People who have commented on my videos, like Jack Conti, who started Patreon, Hank Green, who started VidCon, Michael Markman, who is, he's a smaller vlogger, but he's an older guy who worked at Apple in marketing and is just this really knowledgeable dude. It's there is a community of people on YouTube who are really thoughtful about issues on the website. What I realized early on was that cross-promotion was a really, really useful thing on YouTube if you wanted to get views. So I realized, okay, well, if I can get this popular YouTuber to voice act in one of my videos, then and they tweet about it or something, then some of their viewers will come along. And this was like a revolutionary idea back in the day. Now, like, collaboration is sort of code. Like, it's pushed, you know, on people. Like, you have to collaborate to be successful. So like when I had roles for my animations, I would reach out to popular YouTubers. I remember the very first Nerd Fighter meetup I ever went to. The first time I saw Hank Green perform, I actually got up in front of everybody and was like, I asked him to be in one of my videos, which was so lame. I was a little tiny kid back then, but now I've had like conversations with Hank via email, and I'm involved with a nonprofit that he and his brother largely fund. I have a bunch of friends who like I've worked with and I've gotten to like have conversations with. My friend Hannah is someone who makes a lot of really great music. I've had a lot of opportunities to like meet these friends that I've made online through like creative work and just through like community, like web community, Tumblr, Twitter, these sorts of things. Like that's like how I had like a lot of my close friendships like sort of came out of that community of people making things. Well, I went to the first VidCon. I was super duper excited about it because it was like the first, other than like, it was the first like event. It was the first like really big YouTube event that was happening close by to me and was like advertising itself as something for like art and industry and community and like, you know, all the things that I liked about it were sort of being touted as like, you know, this is what we're gonna promote here. So I was really excited. I went with like my dad and my sister, and I probably looked like a little dork because I was like 12 or something, and the first VidCon I went to, I missed the second one, and I ended up speaking on a panel at another one about young people on the internet. When you are engaged with lots of online communities, like every once in a while, maybe a couple times a year, there will be an opportunity where like someone from one of those communities is kind of in the same vicinity as you. But VidCon was like everyone from everywhere is coming to this one spot. So like I have friends who come from Australia, I have friends who one girl came from Denmark, I think. You know, just people from all over the place who you don't usually get to see like in person. To find a path as a media studies student right now is really like, or a digital studies student is really weird because it's such a young thing that you know, the programs that do exist, the curriculum is still, you know, in this weird vague, like no one really knows what to teach kids because no one knows what's happening. This field of like digital studies presents so much opportunity for people who want to get into it because like the work is just starting to get done. I mean, like this book, The Language of New Media, was only published in like 2001. This is like the first book that like really talks about what is new media. Like what are we talking about when we say the digital, right? Like what does that mean? Lev Manovich, he's a good dude. This book, YouTube, like these two books are really important because they're like formative, right? Like these are like the first works to be done, first really serious things that like just lay out definitions and say this is what we're working with. And that's like this is the type of stuff like I want to be writing. Like I want to at some point write something or do something or like publish some kind of thing that like people will reference as like, okay, this is what people were thinking at the time, you know, let's build off of this like basic framework. A lot of my professional opportunities have presented themselves like thanks to me talking about these things. I've had conversations with people at conferences, at like places like the YouTube Space in LA, where you know, there are a lot of makers of things, you know, walking in and out all the time. having access to spaces like that is really important. I started out going to the YouTube space and going to conferences and stuff, sort of as like a study thing, to go there and see, you know, to meet the people who are really in it, like making stuff, making money off of that stuff. And I started having these conversations, like asking people, you know, okay, well, you're in the industry right now, like how do you see things? Like what are the things on your mind right now in terms of like the progression of your career in this new age of like, you know, digital content, and talking about the stuff that I've studied with those people, I think it comes off as impressive to them. I worked for Funny or Die over the summer last year, which is pretty cool. I did production for Soul Pancake. I got hired at the YouTube space, like to do a shoot with them. So it's like these little like one-off video production jobs that are really fun, and it's not so much that I'm like trying to go into production, that's like a route I could totally see myself taking, but the way that I've sort of gotten to those opportunities, or the way that I get my foot in the door is to say, hey, you know, I'm thinking really hard about this stuff, you know, let's talk about it.